have you here. Hi. Mayor of Brussels. Welcome.
If we are having a summit, it's for a reason, and this is because the heads of government, presidents, they believe that in the current context, energy-wise, security-wise, nuclear has a very, very important contribution to make.
The strategic autonomy of the EU is a top priority in my opinion, and we know that the energy sector is fundamental for our future, for our ability to control our future, and it's why we know that the nuclear is one source that can help us to tackle the climate crisis on the one hand, and it can help us to build our strategic autonomy.
Good luck. This is the only source of energy which could be non-dangerous for the people in terms of pollution, and at the same time produce big quantity what we need. So Hungary is very much in favor of that.
As everyone is aware, there are different views across the European Union on nuclear power. But I am here because I believe that in countries that are open to the technology, nuclear technology can play an important role in the clean energy transition. I can also see that after the global energy crisis caused by Russia's invasion in Ukraine, many countries are giving a fresh look to the potential role that nuclear might play. The final task is the future of nuclear depends on the industry's ability to deliver on time and on budget. Far too often, the realization of nuclear power plants has resulted in significant additional costs and overruns. Another task is to look at new opportunities to support the clean transition. The biggest opportunity is clearly in the electricity sector. But there are other potential avenues for nuclear, for example, to provide decarbonized heat or to supply low-emission hydrogen. These can help cut emissions from industry, which will be critical to reach climate goals.
Our challenge is to deliver on climate change and reduce our CO2 emissions, is to improve our sovereignty by securing our energy, and it's to improve our competitiveness in order to create jobs at the same time.
On our lands. Mr. Scholz, I hope you hear us. Дорогі друзі, dear friends, дуже вам дякую, що ви прийшли.
Belgium is one of the prime research centers in the world. I think it's a good proposal, and we already had taken a first step as of 2 years ago, is that the taxation incomes of the proceeds coming from the frozen assets, we never used that for our budget. We isolated it and used it 100% for buying weapons and providing humanitarian assistance to the Ukrainians. We've always been clear,
taxation on the misery of the Ukrainians that has been inflicted to them by the Russians. The decision or the proposal and the proceeds themselves, I think it's a sensible way of doing it. I think the idea to allocate it predominantly to the purchase of weapons makes total sense.
Concerns about Russia retaliating and seizing European assets.
Inwiefern stimmt Ihre Position mit dem Vorschlag der EU-Kommission überein, wenn es um Quelle von Zinsanträgen aus eingefrorenen russischen Geldern geht?
Ja, wir haben uns hier verständigt, es geht immer um die Windfall Profits, also um die Erträge. Und das, was mir wichtig ist, dass wir dieser Nutzung jetzt noch eine klare Richtung geben, in Richtung auf Unterstützung beim Erwerb von Munition zum Beispiel.
Erwarten Sie sich hier Probleme von den Neutralen?
Ich bin ganz sicher, dass wir hier überhaupt ein sehr klares Signal an Putin senden. Er hat sich verrechnet, wenn er glaubt, dass wir nicht in der Lage sind, die Ukraine so lange zu unterstützen, wie das notwendig ist. Und da ist die Nutzung der Windfall Profits ein kleiner, aber wichtiger Baustein.
It's important to look for new possibilities to support Ukraine militarily. We welcome the initiative of Czech Republic, and we already decided to join it, and we will contribute financially to this initiative. Vladimir Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, we hear his voice about the speeding up of Euro integration process. So for me, it's important today to see that European institutions are ready to start negotiations and to do it in June of this year. We should do it as soon as possible, and this is a matter of our credibility.
It's essential to have peace for the Ukraine, but peace fully in line with the principles, which means peace respecting the Charter, international law, and the territorial integrity and sovereignty of the Ukraine. That is the reason why we believe, for the same reasons, that we need a ceasefire in Gaza, as we condemned terror attacks of the 7th of October, and as we condemn other violations of international humanitarian law by Hamas, we also condemn the fact that we are witnessing a number of civilian casualties in Gaza that is unprecedented in my times as Secretary General. And a basic principle of international humanitarian law is the protection of civilians. We must stick to principles, in the Ukraine as in Gaza, without double standards.
What's happening today in Gaza is the failure of humanity. It's not a humanitarian crisis. It's the failure of humanity. It's not an earthquake. It's not a flood. It's bombing. The only way of stopping this humanitarian crisis, human crisis, is Israel respecting more civilians and allowing more support to enter into Gaza.
The best I'm hoping for, or what I am hoping for coming out of this meeting, is conclusions in which we as European Union, all 27 of us, call for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire, leading to a two-state solution. The language is not yet closed. We're not far off that. Austria and the Czech Republic are the two that are currently holdouts on that. I think they're wrong. But we have to convince them, and you don't convince people by berating them. I think after Hamas did what it did on October 7th, there was an opportunity for the entire world to come behind Israel and to have Hamas removed from Gaza. And Israel didn't take that opportunity, squandered the international support that they had. And I think that's going to be a mistake in the medium to long term in terms of their security and into the future.